Video. Ready, guys? It's gonna be amazing. Okay, so as you can see here, I have pulled in all the clicks, all the cues, all the loops, all the percussion stuff, synth bass, all the leads, all the motions, all the strings, and a few pads here. Here's the tracks for references. And then we got the pad machine working a bit here. I've even pulled in some of the vocals and band. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to close it all down so it looks really nice and tidy. And then I'll pull stuff up as we go to show you. So this is what our teams see on the weekend, something like this. And we're using a smaller computer, so it's definitely, it eats up pretty much the entire screen. So let's just do a walkthrough, and then I'll just kind of skim through the flow and how we're working it. And the first thing I want to point out as we go is I am in what they call arrangement and session views, right? So this is the session view, I think. Well, if they're looking at me to be a person who knows stuff, I might have lost you already. Anyway, I use this view, forget what it's called, but it's the best. I've seen a lot of people use this view, and it's kind of like, I'm guessing this is the session, and it has different instruments on it. I have no idea. And you can do crossfades and stuff like that. I find it to be less flexible, and so it's kind of like if you're plugging and playing, that's great, but if you want to do some cool stuff spontaneously, or if you want to have the arrangement have some space, then this is the way to do it as far as I know. Okay, so let's jump in. This is our pre-gathering. So we got that pad coming in here. This is I guess I made this one, yeah. So it's got some chord changes, and it's kind of nice. So just zoom ahead, and we're in G. Just a reminder that this is going through a bus over here to some delay and reverb, and so it's kind of making that overlapping sound. So when we go to the next one, it'll kind of fade out. And I forgot to put in some tempo here. So let's hit that again. There you go. So that's that pad machine. I've got one playing a nice pad, and I've changed some of the settings in it so that it's a little more slow of a fade in. That's the attack time, and that click is coming in. The just looping there in the right time signature. I gave it 2 bars to come in. We did this all before, I think. Volume's down a little bit, and then that way when we hit this one, these 2 pad machines are still playing a couple bars. Now they're out. Oh, this guy keeps going for a little bit. There you go. Now he's done. Now the tracks are taking over, and we're almost into the full song. I'll put on. That's the full band in there. Okay, you get the idea. So we're in that song. I'm just going to skip ahead, boop-a-doop-a-doo, and all the way to the end. This is the track. Again, I put the entire band there so that we can listen to it if we want to hear it back. So let me do this transition quick. So this is what I want our team to do. I want them to hit it right there. Now you notice that next track started playing and the other one didn't stop. So this is something I want to show you real quick. It's pretty vital to how we do it here. So again, one of the best things about the other view, I think arrangement view, is you can crossfade stuff and make it sound beautiful that way in transitions. And so I figured a way to do it here. So when you're in, you notice that there's a bunch of boxes. Those are stop functions. So when you click on them, you notice that they're stopping things. But if you hit Command E, that toggles it on or off. So that will make that stop function turn off. So if you hang on, let me just jump into this whole thing here. Hang on, let me do it one more time. So when we get to the end of the song, I'm just gonna zoom ahead here. I don't want those strings to be cut off by the next song. So you can see they're still playing out here. And as they finish, the next song is starting. And I've just been deliberate how I've chosen the different things that that track doesn't get cut off. It's just a little bleepy bloop. That doesn't really matter. So we're into this song. It's going well. And you notice I have something, if you know, I don't know if you're into the details yet. We're in this one, and this pad machine hasn't started yet. And that's because I put -107 here as the start bar number. And I just did that by quickly looking at roughly how long the song is, 107. So I threw that in there. And so if we zoom ahead to the end, you'll notice when we get to the end, then we have a key change. Ah, nice. That was supposed to be in the same key. I haven't changed the key yet. Maybe we'll do that in a second as well. You can see how I do that. And so that one gives us time, that kind of space, the band's finished playing, and then we can cue the next song. And so that goes nice into that one. And you see I've done the same thing here. I don't want the pad playing through the entire song. So I put that -87 when we get to the end of that song. So I didn't want that to cut off that ending on the 4 chord. So we put it off a bar. And then we're going to sing a bit more here before we go to the next song. And you can see that fade out is kind of nice. Key change, no big deal. It's a pretty ugly key change too, from B flat to D. But just the smoothness of those two pads make it really nice. So let's just go, we go to the end of this song. Of Jesus. So we're at the end there, and I'm just gonna pull up the pads here. You can see I've done the same thing with this guy. It's just started pulling in here, and I ended it so it's playing the 4 chord. And when we go into our time of prayer, we want to resolve the key, so that'll pull up a D, and we got the click loop happening so our band can kind of play together. And we have the volume down so it's not jumping out of people's ears in the middle of prayer. So that's kind of how we do that one. And it's been nice. I gotta say, these are my favorite pads. They're worshiptraining.com pads. The simple pads, I use them a lot. They're my favorite for just tasteful. And you notice I put them in this shaped one where I have the top end totally scooped off. So that's the full thing. But I've actually just pulled it down. Yep, and I think that sounds great. So then we go into our teaching time and have that set to just stop everything. But even still, because of that delay, it's a nice fade out. And the tempo makes it really slow because the delay is set really long. There you go. So that's how we go through it. I mean, post-teaching, we have some similar stuff. We have one of our team members fade up the pad because it comes in kind of quick out of like a teaching time. Might not sound crazy now, but in a quiet room, that'll be pretty intense. then the click will come in, and then I have two options here. If we want to just stay there and do without the full tracks, it's ready to go. And then if we want to do the tracks, it's also ready to go. So there's only one thing that I didn't show you quick. I made a goof. I forgot to change the key of something, but it's a good chance for me to show you. So We Are Royals, it's originally in the key of C. We want to do it in B flat. So this is really important. I just hit the track. I want the tempo and the time signature to be set correctly before I hit warp. Otherwise, it makes it a lot more work. And I'll show you what I mean. So first thing I'm going to do is just going to shift click through all the different band and vocals. And I'm going to click on the track. And then I'm also going to click through these last few. And I remember I mentioned that this one is tonal, even though it's a percussion track. Oh, it's a different one, but same kind of deal. So we want to make sure that that gets changed. So some of these are warped already. I want to warp them all. So that's warping makes them follow the tempo and the BPM, time signature. So now that I've done that, I can actually transpose them and it follows the tempo. So I want to transpose down -2. And I really like the complex for most of these, except for vocals. Complex Pro sounds really good on vocals, but it sounds horrible on other stuff. So there we go. So this whole thing, I'll turn on the vocals too. I mean, we're going just down a tone, but it sounds pretty good. We go often to like 4 semitones, 5 semitones away. And depending on what you're doing, it's actually not bad. So you said it sounds pretty good. That's really creepy. Okay. Like, listen to those vocals. When you solo it, you can hear it, but not bad. Anyway, so there you go. It's all tuned correctly. It's always good to run through your tracks and double check everything. Cool. So that's that transition. Sounds a lot better. I'm actually just gonna make it a little quicker so that we don't lose that one thing. 1 bar of weird silence. So I'm just gonna try that one more time. Nice. Perfect. Okay, so that's set up, ready to go for the weekend. Hope that was helpful, guys. I don't know if there's something you wanted me to do a deep dive on, or even if you think that it was worth it or not. But I'm open to it. So if you want me to do something like that, let me know. Otherwise, this is more geared towards our team members and training them. So, I made a couple notes here. I don't want to forget to tell you guys. Collect all and save is huge. I'm going to do that right now. And we've got probably 1.5 gigs, 2 gigs of files here. And for it to pull it from a bunch of different places is ridiculous, especially because this is all on a server, a media server. It's a very fast server for us, but I don't want it to be trying to get stuff through an Ethernet. When I pull this onto the other computer, it'll load up and be all ready to go with the files all in the same folder, and it'll be running off that drive right in the computer, which we keep really clean, and it's a solid state drive. So that's the last tip. Okay, thumbs up, y'alls. Ciao.